Welcome back everyone to the Kenshi Let's Struggle. Cue the intro.
You wanna know why? Not ever virgin anymore. I am alright. She drive me up like a Capri Sun. Bitches in a phantom.
Now I hope everyone's doing well with self-quarantine. Happy 4/20 2020. But I know it's been a little bit since we've last played Kenshi together, so I want to fill you guys in on what we're all doing now. Things at Fort Harold are going pretty well. I finally decided to use my brain and build some beds, and I wanted to build these bunk beds because I figured, wow, we can fit 2 people on each bed spot, and you know, that'd be very efficient for the base. Now, of course, it's the Let's Struggle, so nothing can go to fucking as planned. The ladders don't work, I guess, because they're not inside, they're technically outside on the roof. You know, I tried building a pavilion, didn't do shit, so the beds are just gonna stay like that, just one working bed. On the bright side, we've made lots of rum over the past couple weeks from playing. We're doing mostly exploration runs, so we now have to do a run to get rid of all this stuff. With all the research that we had collected from the ruins and other places, I decided to finally look down and see what I wanted to invest in. The automatic loom for hemp is going to be very useful. We'll be able to make our hemp into fabrics a lot faster, along with a battery capacity. Upgrade, which just increases the amount of battery capacity your batteries have, if you weren't fucking smart enough to figure that one out. After that, I got Harold and his squad together, and I sent them over to the swamp near the middle to Shark. This way they could sell all the stuff. Now, they arrived there pretty easily in the morning, and once going in, I realized it was going to take a lot to sell all this stuff. We could only really sell a few of these, you know, maybe 4 or 5 stacks before we had claimed about 30k cats. So after going to all the different shops in Shark, we had well over 100k made just from that one trip. So I decided with the room all cleared up, we could go over to the burning forest and check out that area, as I'm sure there's some things to explore over there. Now, if you guys remember in the last episode, I recruited Frankie G. Now, he ended up dying during the Simp Skeleton raid, which is very unfortunate. This happens to quite a bit of the people in the Hair Young Empire, so I installed a grave mod that allows me to add in these little graves and little spots for people to sort of go and mourn at. So now, even though we are missing Frankie G and a few others, you know, viewers that I'm very thankful for, that I try to make characters for, we at least now have something to remember them with. Now, a few seconds later, that was interrupted by the Triangle Bandits. They had come back yet again, claiming they've taken over the Dust King Tower. And looks like we're gonna have to go back there and see if they did, because they're fucking idiots. Motherfuckers make me look like I got fucking some kind of learning disability, calling them fucking triage bandits for 300 hours on end. You know, fucking spawn with first aid kits and make sense. I hate them so much, so we're gonna get them for sure within the next few weeks. We can't just let them be running around rampant again. Now, Harold and the group ended up making it into the burning forest quite well, and while checking it out, they found a ruin pretty much right away, and once going over to it, it looked like a pretty nice one. It wasn't one of them shitty ass ruins, it was one that would actually probably have research inside of it, so sending them up the stairs to head into it. The first floor would luckily only have a couple security spiders, which isn't too bad. The group is pretty much used to fighting a lot more at a single time, so after clearing out the security spiders, you just make sure to loot them, that way you can grab their fucking skeleton thing or any of their parts. They work the same way as animals, so they're dead after remove one of the things from their body. On the very top floor, it was pretty chill too. I mean, only 2 security spiders, they wouldn't be doing any real damage to us. We could knock them out in a few hits. And after they were all taken out, all we had to do was patch up quick, and then we could check the room to see what kind of loot we could find. Now, there's a few blueprints and some other stuff that we had, but the ancient sign books were here, which was pretty nice. A lot of these things, though, did not have too much shit. I mean, a lot of it was a waste. The best find that we did find was within this safe here. We got a lot of copper plates. This will allow us to make our hemp processors, as well as the ancient science books and other shit in there. Really useful. There's even one more crate which had 7 ancient science books and some other stuff and skeleton robotics pair kits, so I think this was a really good ruins to check out. There wasn't anything else for us to really grab, so I sent everybody to go outside of the gate and get ready. Instead of going back home though, I wanted them to keep on exploring, so I decided to go into the high bone field. I hadn't been to this area of the map ever before, and I decided to check it out. Now, I could see some kind of place in the distance. I didn't know who it was owned by, so I decided Harold and the group would cross the lake and find out. When inspecting the place, it turns out it's owned by the United Cities, and seeing as the gate was left wide open and they weren't really hostile to us, I figured Harold would go in and check it out. Upon entering, it's not like a normal town, so there's one giant tower in the middle with cages on the outside, pretty suspicious, and then going inside of one of the residents' houses, they look to be in rags and pretty much they're against their will. Like, they definitely didn't seem to really like it there. Whether they were prisoners or slaves, we could not really tell. So afterwards, I decided to go to, the headquarters of this place, see if the head honcho is here and see if we can talk to them, see what's going on, maybe there's some quests or some dialogue we can get through. And sleeping in one of the beds was Lord Inaba, the United City's diplomatic leader of this place. So, going over to talk to him, he immediately tells us to scram. And then after that, he's telling us we spoil his walk with our horrid stench. Now, we won't be treated that way. So Harold responds to which, and Lord Inaba goes for a swing. This causes a fight between Harold and the whole United Cities Empire, just because Harold wouldn't bow down his head to some scumbag. So Harold made it through the gates, and I gathered everyone outside to make a mad dash out of there. I knew that this was going to be bad, and I did not want to start a huge war with them. But they kept on coming at a fast rate. All the guards were coming one after one. We were getting more negative reputation. They were taking out all of our units with the turrets and then taking their loot off of them. We had no other choice but to stop and try and fight. They had already started to enslave some of our units, so this wasn't looking too good, and B02 was really the only one that was taking the hits and able to repair up before being shot down. I had some units go in on the inside and try to take out some of the people at the turrets, as they were doing massive numbers to our unit. Majority of everyone was knocked out or put in a cage and enslaved right now, so this was looking horrible. B01 would continue to fight the prison guards outside, and Wet Axo ended up getting up, so we had him back at the front lines again at least. He could go over and fight the people around the cages. That way the others would have a good chance to pick the locks and get out. Now I was able to find a couple of the weapons that we had, gone missing from them being looted off of us, but a majority of what we had was missing and I couldn't find it. So this meant I felt like we needed to take out the entirety of the base. The United Cities had declared war on us. We didn't do it vice versa. So first step would be breaking the Hair Young Empire platoon out of prison and taking out the turret men as well. That way they can't shoot us as we're trying to escape. Meanwhile, we started to break the fight out into other places in the outpost. The storm house next to the HQ first, followed by the HQ. I noticed that Lord Inaba had already been knocked out during the battle. A million things were going on at once, so this wasn't too much of a surprise. But afterwards, I would continue to take out the rest of the units, and Lord Inaba ended up slipping out of my grasp. I couldn't really find him. I was looking everywhere around, and the motherfucker just couldn't be found. Luckily, he ended up picking a fight with people outside instead of just running away, which was his downfall, as we were able to knock him out, then patch him up, but kidnap him to bring him back to Fort Harold. The plan was to try and recruit or make this guy switch sides over to ours. That would make the United Cities a lot weaker. We also went and kidnapped a prison guard as well, and after heading into the tower and taking out the United Cities warden, all that was left to do was to loot the tower, and our stuff wasn't in it. I mean, I checked every single fucking spot in there, and none of our swords were on anyone or any of the chests, so that's a bummer. Meanwhile, at Fort Harold, the United Cities had already arrived. They had planned an assault, as we have now enemies with the United Cities. Now, this assault wasn't too big. It only consisted of a few of them, so they wouldn't stand no chance against Fort Harold. And now that the platoon had recovered and was basically done with business here, I sent them all out back to Fort Harold. Now, the way back to Fort Harold was pretty easy. The only problem was Dirty Patriot died at the base. He was one of the workers, I believe farmers, and I don't know what happened to him. There's just natural causes, I guess. But I put down a gravestone for Dirty Patriot and RIP. Thank you for watching the series, and I'm sorry you died, man. Meanwhile, the Fort Harold platoon had ran into a pack of beak things. Now, this wasn't a small one, this was a large one. So they had a good 10-12 beak things following them as they're trying to get home. Now, we also saw there's a new fucking city set up, Nova Tempest. I don't know what it is or what it's about, probably from a mod. But right after that, a group of dust bandits just fucking walk in, like normal. It was a mess, man. So the goal was to basically try and get close to Fort Harold, and we're sending Implord over for assistance because we definitely needed help with this one. The beak things were hitting every shot every now and then, and Dust Bandit had already been knocked out. So once we were finally near Implord, we were able to take out a few of the beak things alone. Also getting all of the dust bandits to come over as well, as they needed to be cleared up. We would watch the beak things fight with the dust bandits as well as just taking out both of the groups. This was good experience and no one got too hurt. And Implord scurried off himself. Thank you for the help, Implord. Now heading back to the base, the goal is to put Lord Inaba in a cage to try and recruit him. Since I have a recruit any one mod on, I'm going to disable that, so I have the default recruit mod on, so I'll see some type of unique dialogue instead of him just joining my party right up. So that's why I decided to exit game, just reload with new mod, and that way I could talk to him, and he's very unwilling right now. So I decided I'd be making a torture room. Now a torture room uses a few of the CM mods, and this adds in one thing called a drill machine that I think drills into people. We got the hook, which I think hooks into people. We got the hanger, which hangs into people. We got the crucifix, which you hang people on. Now, I fucked around with this for quite a bit, honestly, trying to make sure it was the right way, and even though I did, I still put it the wrong way. But on the bright side, we had so many copper plates now, we can make the 3 different hemp processors that we needed to, using 9 of them. We could finally make some hash. After that, though, I went over to the research tree, as we had lots of new things to get. I wanted to get a peeler machine, lots of turret stuff, and just some random different things that I thought would be useful in the meantime. We have lots of different things to research because of a mod, so it'll take some time. Meanwhile, our torture machines are working fantastic, I guess. We tested it on a dead Dust Lord, and it would work quite well. Other than the wonky animation speed, things are looking pretty smooth. I decided to also put in a few more beds, as a lot of people in Fort Harold are probably getting too injured all the time, so this way we can have less people dying all the time and more recovering. Also set up so King and Ruka are going to be in charge of the hemp processors, and I'll have more and more people joining them as we get along. The peeler machine was also constructed in the torture room, and with that it basically brings us to the end of this play session. I want to thank everybody who's been watching the series, and the channel is almost at 700 subscribers as of this video. It's really crazy the kind of community that you guys have all created around this series, and I really do appreciate all the comments and feedback and everything you guys do give on the videos. I'm going to try a lot more in the next few weeks to be making some more content for you guys, not Kenshi related and Kenshi related, so you stay on the lookout for that. Anyways though, I'll catch you guys in the next one, and I hope you have a good one. Peace.